So you're having difficulties picking out a gimbal? Clearly I did too. Holy sh. What up, AFAM? Kitty here with atolavisuals, and we are back with another gimbal video. But this one has them all. But first, on the right side, these are the lighter weight gimbals, and on the left side, these are the heavier payload setups. So already you should be thinking what type of camera setup you're gonna be using for your gimbal load, and it should just split it down in between one of these sections. And if you don't know, and you're gonna be using different lens setups throughout, then just go for the heavier payload. The most common question I get on all my videos, Instagram feed is, what gimbal should I get between this one, or is this one or this one better? Honestly, they all do the same job. They all smooth out your footage. I'm gonna help you choose which gimbal is right for you based on the following categories. So let's get to it. The first category we have is battery life. Most of these gimbals already are in the 10 to 12 hour range. If you're shooting longer than that straight, that's insane. But the winner of this category goes to the Zhiyun Crane 2 with 18 hours. 18 hours. Most people would probably shoot on that for a whole week before charging it. That's crazy. Ding, ding, ding. One for the Crane 2. Crane 2 team, you got 1 point. The next category goes to heaviest payload. So for you people using big camera setups, this one, I'm talking to you. And the winner for that is gonna be in this section, and it goes to the Tilta G2X with 8 pounds or 3.63 kilograms. Second place would be the Ronin S, barely second place. It's 7.9 pounds or 3.6 kilograms. Really close, but the G2X takes it in that category. Now the opposite of heaviest payload, we're gonna go with the best run and gun gimbal, which is gonna be in this category. For my favorite would have to be the Snopa Chilling M. Why? Because it is the lightest gimbal. This is the gimbal I brought to NAB. I travel with it a lot, and it also transforms into carry mode, something the other gimbals do not do. So it's easy to maneuver, it's easy to carry, it's easy to pack. It's my favorite travel run and gun gimbal. Ding, ding, ding. One for the Chilling, one for the G2X, and one for the Crane 2. I'm probably not helping you choose right now, but we're gonna move on. Honorary mention for another great travel gimbal is the Crane Plus. This one I also bring with me traveling. It's really lightweight as well. For the best design category, I would have to pick the DJI Ronin S. It is beautiful. The handle is so comfortable to hold, even though this is actually the heaviest gimbal we have on this table at 4.1 pounds. It is the most comfortable. Also, the ergonomics are really nice. The buttons are exactly where your fingers are when you hold onto it. There's customizable profiles that you could change within the app. There's also sport mode. Their joystick's really nice, similar to their drone joysticks. The follow focus is just really small and smooth. It's a built-in battery. There's a battery indicator. I mean, there's just so much going on. Not only that, but there's lower set motors. This thing I'm a super fan of. The only other one that has it is the Tilta G2X as well. So what I'm getting at is the DJI Ronin is the easiest to change motor settings without even getting into the app, and that's really useful and time saving. Design award goes to DJI. Good job, guys. For the best app, ooh, that's hard because they all have their own individual apps, but because I'm an Android user, I'm kind of biased on which app works for me, so I don't have to carry this iPhone 6 every time I need to change something on the gimbal. So for the best app for me, personally, would have to go to the DJI Ronin S because it's as fluid as the iOS app. It works pretty similar, and I don't have to carry an extra phone. That alone lets it win. Dun, 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 dun. It's also pretty easy to use and figure out and maneuver. Very consumer interface friendly. For the features category, it was a tough choice, but personally for me and what I do and what I use, and the fact that I also use a Sony camera, I would have to go with the Goodson Moza right here. So one for them. Why? Because I do a lot of motion time lapse, so this one is actually the only gimbal that will trigger my camera to take photos. There's other gimbals that also claim that they do motion time lapse, but you'll have to set either a Sony app with it or an intervalometer and time it correctly because it kind of just pans based on which paths you put it on. This Moza will actually do it. Moza also gets the most updates, so every time there's something new, they will throw it on there really quick compared to other gimbals. So they just installed that inception mode, so now you could do 360 rolls with it. You could also tilt it up and it'll stick. I don't have cameras on here because I don't have enough cameras to put on these gimbals. I have more gimbals than cameras. But another one of the updates is that when you position the camera in certain directions, it'll actually hold, which is something the Crane 2 did out of the box. Another thing that I like is that it was the first gimbal to auto-tune before Ronin S did. It also holds my 24-70, although there's not that much clearance in the back motor. I'll have to take the iCap piece off, but it still holds for basic walking. Also, if you purchase the thumb controller, which I highly recommend, not only can you change the speeds on the motors and record and start stop and change certain features, calibrate, etc., you also have the ability to motion control it. So if you move the controller, which is wireless by the way, connected via Bluetooth, the gimbal will move with it. That's pretty damn cool. The other gimbals also have an array of features, but I just find that I use the Moza one the most. That's just me. Next, we will get into camera category. So based on your certain camera device, a gimbal works better for it. For example, for the Panasonic GH5 users, you win the Ronin S. You have full access to the follow focus, the motion time lapse, pretty much everything. So congratulations, you get the new. For Canon users, you get the Crane 2. Also, you could use the follow focus with the cables, and you could also access and change your camera settings with this OLED screen, which is something the other gimbals do not have. There's gonna be an add-on screen for the Ronin S, but that'll be an additional payment. The Crane 2 comes with its stock. It's the only one with a screen. So if you like to see your settings and change modes and see battery life and all that, you can see it on the screen, which is pretty cool. For a Sony fan, the best gimbal for us would have to be the Qilin M by Snoppa. Why? Because you could half push this button and it'll actually autofocus for you. It could charge your battery with the same cable that you could use to connect it to start and stop, take photos. It definitely works the best for us. In second place for Sony would have to be the Moza because you could also start and stop with just a cable. For the category of the lowest cost, if you're on a budget and you want to just start off with your first gimbal, that one would have to go to the Snoppa Qilin M. Ding, 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 which is also my favorite Sony gimbal and run and gun gimbal. So if those three things are really important to you, I think I've helped you decide. The lowest cost one also doesn't have a tripod, but you could pay a little extra for one. So that's why it's on a Manfrotto Pixie. Everyone else has their own stand, it's just left out. For current pricing, check the links down below. There is no way these gimbals are even gonna get near that, I'll tell you that much. For the best value category, ooh, that one I really had to think about. Even right now, I'm still thinking. I have two in my head. I guess maybe they could be a tie. Can I have ties? Are ties allowed? No ties allowed. Okay, they said no ties allowed. All right, so for the best value, I'm going, having to pick is so difficult. I'm gonna have to go with the Moza, the Gunnarsson Moza. Why? Because the payload on this is 7 pounds. And it also comes with foldable dual handles, which is something none of the other gimbals come with. You're gonna have to pay a little bit more for the thumb controller, but it's super recommended because it's got so much to it. It gets my motion time lapse done. Honestly, this is the best. It's a decent price, and I use it most of the time for client shoots. Honestly, I really like, this has nothing to do with best value, but just holding it and the handle itself feels really good. I know that might be something that's important to you, is how it feels in your hand because you're gonna be holding it. I know I said the DJI feels really good, but this also feels amazing. It's got that really grippy feel. And these two are the only ones that have it. I'm not truly a fan of this thick handle. I know it has really nothing to do with features and stuff, but just holding the thick handle is not my thing. I know I'm gonna get a lot of perverted comments right now, but it is what it is. I don't like holding the BBC handle. It's just too much for me. What is my favorite gimbal? Which is so difficult because I actually swap them out pretty regularly based on what I'm doing, where I'm shooting, and what my setup is. But if I were to have to give up everything but one gimbal, ooh, it's breaking my heart just thinking about it. I hate this. I would have to pick, again, the Gunnarsson Moza. This is my favorite gimbal at the moment. Like I said, it has the most features. It also holds 7 pounds, holds my G Master. Has motion time lapse. I love that thumb controller and the fact that it comes with dual handles. So that's what I pick. Moza's my love, now you know, because it's kind of in that lightweight gimbal setup section, but it holds just as much as the Crane 2. So technically it should be in the middle here. It's easy to travel with and holds a lot of weight. So it just does a lot of things for what it is, and it's pretty affordable. Now the next question I always get, because it's so heated right now, is the Ronin S versus the G2X versus the Crane 2. Again, if you're a GH5 user, it's a clear win for the Ronin S. If you're a Canon user, clear win for the Crane 2. If you want the heaviest payload option, definitely the Tilta G2X because it holds 8 pounds. If you want the prettiest gimbal handle, the G2X. If you like the best design and you want customizable buttons, the Ronin S does fine. These two also have follow focus. The Tilta G2X also has a follow focus edition, which is called the Nucleus Nano. I'm not sure if it's out yet, but it was at NAB. It looks really nice because it's got like a wood and metal build to it. Tilta definitely makes really beautiful products. I don't know if you choose gear because it's pretty, but that's something to think about. This is really hard. I'm gonna choose while I'm filming this because I still don't have an answer. So narrowing it down, I would have to take out the Crane 2. I know there's a huge Crane 2 team out there. I'm probably disappointed, but it just doesn't have the lower set motor, and I don't really like the thick handle. Here's the answer. If I were to choose between the Ronin S and the G2X, my answer would have to be torture. All right, let's just talk about the similarities and differences really quick so I could just move on with my life. It's so weird because they're kind of built the same way and used the same way. They both have these trigger buttons here and then the joysticks on the back, and then you attach your attachments on the side. And there's a lower set motor. It comes with a nice quick plate here. And there's interchangeable batteries. The Ronin S has a built-in battery, so that's also something to think about. And if you get the wooden rosette mount handle, it's such a good combination. The most useful gimbal out of the two, I would have to go with the DJI Ronin S because of the customizable buttons and the features and everything going on with this gimbal. In terms of aesthetics and gorgeousness, I would go with the G2X. If you want to learn more about any of these gimbals, I've done full review videos on every single one so you can learn more individually. So check that out here or down below. I have a gimbal playlist that you could just watch all of them non-stop and binge. Thanks for hanging out with me and my gimbal children. You do you, fam, and I'll see you when I see you. Done. That's that. I'm running out of words to say. Do you hear that?
Yeah.
It's gross. What is it? Motion something. Fuck. Pow. I'm hungry. My stomach's growling. I wonder what the next one will be. I don't have a problem, I swear I don't.